You were up north working on the railroad.
News travels. I heard you and Mara Jane fixing to get married.
Just in time for breakfast, Doc. Get yourself.
Fine brother you are. Mara Jane used to be my girl. Remember that?
Used to be, ain't now, Jeff.
Too bad you don't know women like you know that Bible. All right, now you listen. This place is half mine. You want to bring Mara Jane in here, you buy me out.
It's a good idea. I'll give you $200 cash and a note for $1,200.
You're going to give me half of it in cash. You got it. You must have sold that crop by now.
Yes, and I owe most of it to Emil Dunker for doing the work that you should have done.
All right. All right, Brother Frank. And I guess you and me and Mara Jane are going to live here like one big happy family, huh? She might kind of like that.
Shut up!
Frank! You hit me, will you?
Jeff.
Just on our way for coffee that morning when Emil Dunker tore into town. the matter with you, Dunker?
It's Frank Whalen. What happened? Somebody took a knife to him.
Where was he?
On the kitchen floor. In his ranch. When I came for work.
Well, what'd you move him for?
I wanted to get him to a doctor.
What is it, Smitty?
Mary Jane, you'd better go on back to the cafe.
What's the matter, Emo? It's Frank. Let me go. Let me go.
Mary Jane, there's nothing you can do for him.
No.
Take her home, will you? Get Doc Henderson for her.
Smitty, you and Romack get over to the farm. Take a look.
Let's go, George.
What's the matter?
Just looking.
Hey, here's some blood.
Just fixing to eat breakfast, looks like. See what's in there, George.
Hey, Smitty, look at this. Must have been a robbery. Found this under his bunk.
No knife, huh?
Killer wouldn't leave his own knife.
I'm looking for the one that cut that bread.
Tastes good. Dunker's daughter makes it.
Huh?
Yeah, I had some before. Dunker sells it.
I'd say that was baked yesterday afternoon late. We've got to find that knife, George.
Looks like Jeff Whalen.
Thought he was up north working on the railroad.
Coming back for Frank's wedding, maybe.
What are you doing here, Smith? Where's Frank?
It's bad news, Jeff. Somebody took a knife to him this morning.
You heard bad?
He's dead.
Emil Dunker found him. Brought him to town this morning.
You just off the trail, Jeff?
Yeah, I've been riding all night. Where's Dunker now?
He's in town, jail. That doesn't mean he had anything to do with it.
Is that right?
Now, hold on, Jeff. I know how you
You
feel.
hold on. I've been pounding leather day and night for 2 full days trying to get to my brother's wedding. But now it turns out to be his funeral.
That gives you no cause against Dunker.
Well, Smith, for your information, Frank's been having trouble with him. I mean a lot of trouble.
What kind of trouble?
Money trouble. That box right there tells me all I want to know.
That boy's gonna make trouble.
Chief can handle him. That horse of his could sure use some tending.
Well, he's been on the trail for 2 days and nights. Guess he ought to be a little dirty, huh?
So should the rider. His clothes are clean. George, I'll finish up here. You go over to the Dunker place. Have a look around. Bring his daughter Ilsa into town. I'll meet you there. Chief and I questioned Dunker. His strongest defense was that he had no blood on his clothes.
Mr. Dunker, you sure you didn't go and change clothes before you brought Frank's body into town?
No, I didn't.
Can you prove it?
No. No, I can't.
What about your daughter, Ilsa? Can she tell us?
Every morning, Ilse gets up early to get my breakfast. But yesterday, she didn't feel well, so I let her sleep this morning. She doesn't know when I left for work. When I came back home.
Well, there's our flat-faced Dutchman. Come on in, Mara Jane. Let's have a talk with Frank's killer.
Please, Jeff, don't do anything.
All right, I won't. Not if he spills his guts clean. But if he don't, I'm going to kill him.
You're not going to do anything, Jeff. Only get out of here.
We'd better lock Mr. Dunker in a cell for safekeeping.
Is that what you paid for, Smith? Huh? To protect murderers?
I'm sorry, Smitty. I didn't want any trouble, but he's been trying to come here ever since he tried
All right, don't apologize to him, Mara Jane.
Before you leave. Why, Jane, what about this trouble that Frank was having with Emil?
Frank never had any trouble with Emil. At least not that I ever heard of.
Frank didn't go around talking about people. He only told me because the farm was half mine.
You said he had trouble over money. You didn't say anything about the farm.
That's right, it's the same thing. Money's half mine. And speaking of money, Smith, when do I get what Dunker stole from Frank?
How'd you know there was any money stolen?
Because I just checked with the bank. Frank sold his crop, cashed his check. It's $4,000.
That's right. There's no proof Dunker stole it. Now you get out of here. George had brought in not only Ilsa Dunker, but a blood-stained knife and a roll of banknotes he'd found hidden there. But there was even more evidence against the girl.
Blood on this knife is Frank Whalen's. All right. You say somebody might have broken into the cabin while you were outside doing the washing and stolen it. Have you any idea where some more of this very same blood might be found?
Chief, please. Ilsa, what the chief means is this blood on your sleeve. How did it get there?
I don't know. No, wait. It was the calf.
The calf?
It was this morning. When I was doing the washing outside, I heard one of the Osborne cows. It was bellowing, and I thought at first maybe it was stuck in the swamp. So I run down there and to where our place joins the Osborne ranch. When I find the cow just standing there over the calf. Someone had killed it.
Just where was this, Ilsa?
Near the little clump of brush about 100 yards east of our cabin.
Thank you very much. And, Ilsa, if you'll come back this afternoon, I'll arrange for you to see your father.
Thank you.
All right, Smitty. The Dunkers are nice people. But keep in mind the fact that this is their knife. It was found on their property. So is this money that was stolen from Frank Whalen.
I know that. But I keep wondering, why didn't Dunker just wash the bloodstains off that knife and hang it back on that nail where it belongs, instead of hiding it where anyone could find it? Bloodstains and all.
Help you, Jeff? Not unless you're the chief of police, Smith. The bank advised me to fill out a claim for the money Dunker stole.
Stick around. Make sure that's all he does is fill out a claim. That horse still bothers me.
You mean like you were saying at Whalen's?
Yeah. Dirty horse, clean rider.
Well, Jeff probably just changed clothes out on the trail to look decent when he got home.
Well, if he did, the dirty ones ought to be in his saddlebags.
Yeah.
And they're empty. Keep an eye on him, George. The calf had been killed all right, and with a knife. But I needed more than that to go on, so I rode to the Dunkard cabin for a look around. Everything was the way George had described it. I found nothing that would help. Until I needed a hand towel. It reminded me of something. That morning, the hand towel over Whalen's wash basin had been missing.
How do you feel today?
I'm all right, Papa.
Not sick anymore? Huh?
No. How are you, Papa?
That's good. That's real good.
Mr. Smith, Papa did not kill Mr. Whalen. Why are you keeping him in jail?
Well, mainly because we have no way of proving he didn't go home and change his clothes before he brought Frank Whalen in.
Oh, why should that be important?
Well, it is. Believe me.
I do not understand. But if that is the case, I can prove it.
You can?
Of course I can. This morning, I fixed Papa's breakfast as usual, and at about 4:30, I saw him I saw him go off to work, and he did not come back to change his clothes or for any other reason. I can swear to that.
I've told Mr. Smith already you were asleep this morning.
Mr. Dunker, did you ever quarrel with Frank Whalen about money?
Oh, never.
Did you owe him any money?
No.
It was just the other way around. Mr. Whalen owed Papa for nearly a year's work.
That is true. He wanted to settle with me today.
So why should Papa steal money he was going to get anyway?
That's a good question. Elsa, I'd appreciate it if you'd arrange to stay in town for a few days. Can you do that?
Yes.
Before you and Frank became engaged, you used to go around with his brother Jeff, didn't you?
Yes, but I was never really serious about him.
Was he serious about you?
Well, I think so, yes.
How did he react when you ditched him for Frank? Did he make any threats or anything like that?
I wouldn't have paid any attention to him if he had. Jeff was always spoiled and selfish and given to quick anger. Not at all like Frank.
Did Jeff say anything when he brought you home today?
Nothing important. He asked me if I'd ride out to the farm with him tonight.
Did he say why?
He wanted to know if there were any things of Frank's I might want to have. Of course, I'm not going.
Why not?
Well, Frank and I weren't married. And his things don't belong to me.
Well, I'm sure he would have wanted you to have some of them.
There's a couple of hairs on it. How do you know they're cattle hairs?
Because human hair is a lot thinner.
What about that money found at Dunker's? You'll say that wasn't stolen from Frank Whalen's house?
No, I'm not. But Frank drew $1,000 out of the bank, and only $810 was found at Dunker's.
What happened to the rest of it?
Jeff Whalen's been standing quite a few rounds of drinks down at the Palace Bar.
Well, he's been away working, earning money.
Oh. I wired the railroad gang boss where he's been working. It seems Jeff got in a poker game the night before he left. Got cleaned out. Lost every cent he had coming in wages.
Little fire might be nice, huh?
Mm-hmm.
What you looking for?
The bread knife. Smitty said it was missing.
When? When did he say that?
This afternoon. He thinks Frank was killed with his own bread knife.
They got Dunker's knife. There's blood on it, isn't there?
Oh, that was used to kill a calf over at Osborne's.
Smith said that? I don't get it. Why did he think Dunker killed the calf?
Oh, some plan to account for the blood he must have got in his clothes when he killed Frank.
That all he said?
No.
What else did he say?
He said they might have to let Dunker go.
They gonna let him go?
Unless they can find the other knife on his plate somewhere. Smitty thinks he might have buried it with a blood-stained towel. They're going to look out there tomorrow with a bunch of men.
Well, Smitty may be right at that. I know a place Dunker might have put it. I'm going over there right now.
I'll go with you.
No, it's, you wait here, Marge. You just stay here. Smith.
Now we know, don't we?
I found him for you, Smith. I told Mara Jane I know where Dunker hid it.
I can feel what you're thinking, Jeff. Don't try it.
Why didn't you kill me, Smith?
That would have been too easy for you. I want to see you stand trial.
Was Jeff?
Yes, it was.
Frank's Bible. Can I keep it?
Of course. Without her help, I would never have been able to trap Jeff Whalen. I left her with her grief and the age-old story of Cain and Abel.
Well, you should have let me go. Could have saved yourself some trouble. You don't know it yet, but you're working for me.
There are 9 of us with the Denver Police Department. Or there were until last night. Now there are 8. The chief, 5 officers, and 2 detectives. One of them's George Romack, the fellow who stopped the prisoner from getting away last night. I'm the other one, named Smith.
Smitty,
Hi, Laura.
I just heard about Barney Hennessy. How'd it happen?
Oh, he's bringing in a prisoner, a couple of men laying for him.
Who did it?
We don't know yet.
Smitty? How's Barney's wife taking it?
She's holding up. It's going to be tough for her and the kid.
Smitty, I'd like to...
Now, Laura, you don't have to do
Give
that.
it to her. But don't say nothing about me. She might get the wrong idea.
Thanks, Laura. Al?
What'd you find?
Stayed at the Denver house the night before last. No names on the register.
How about the horses?
Stole them from a ranch up on Cherry Creek. Found the saddlebags. Not much here. Get anything out of him?
You keep saying he doesn't know anything about him.
Let's see what I've got in my book. Here.
See what he has to say about this.
Go through this, Cal.
So, you got no idea who those 2 men were?
I told you, could have been a couple of friends of mine. I got lots of friends.
But they were with you when you took that bank at Cheyenne last month. Those 2 and 5 others.
Well, what gives you that idea?
This.
Well, Alfie. So you've been keeping a history on me.
That's right, Garrity. Keep a history on every lawbreaker. Never know when it'll come in handy. Like now.
Well, we'll see how this stuff's going to do you any good.
I'll tell you how. Says there were 8 men in that express office holed up in there. 8 men took that UP payroll last fall in Ogallala. Now, we've got those 2 in the morgue. We've got you here. That leaves 5, doesn't it?
Sure is good at arithmetic, ain't he?
Who are they, Garrity?
Answer him.
Why?
I'll take care of this, Smitty.
Smitty? Is this the great Whispering Smith?
Yeah. You're gonna get to know him a lot better before you're through.
Whispering Smith? Him? Well, sonny, you ain't took to shaving, have you?
Tried it a couple of times.
Fred, I want to know about those 2 men. I want to know who they were and how they knew you were out in Tennessee. There are some other things I want to know, too.
How much do you get, George? George.
I'm counting.
Laura.
How's Richards doing with Gary?
Not too good. You talked to him last night, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I talked to him.
You tell him he's gonna hang?
Yeah, I did.
What do you think about that?
He ain't worried.
I wonder why. Say, you got no idea
No,
why.
I got no ideas why.
Something wrong with you.
No.
Something's chewing on you. You can smell
Smitty, there's nothing eating on me.
All right.
$314.38. Barney's laid out in his coffin, and we squared with $314.38. And it'll be 2 years tomorrow.
How's that?
That's how long they've been married. Just 2 months to the day longer than Edie and me.
George, what does Edie think about all this?
I told her not to think. She marries me. This is the kind of deal she'll get.
George Romack, I'm tired of this. Whatever it is, you better get it off your chest. Come home. Slam the door. Eat dinner without even saying hello.
Edie, I told you I've had a hard
I
day.
had a hard day, too. How do you think I felt spending all day with Nora Hennessy? Telling myself there, but for the grace of God.
Edie, will you shut up?
It's true, isn't it? It could have been you just as easy as Barney. I come home needing you like everything. And the first thing you've got to say is, pack up and go see your mother in Cincinnati. To tell me that now
When what?
when I need you right now more than ever.
Edie, you can stay here for the rest of your life if you want. I told you it was just a suggestion. Edie. I love you so much it hurts. Edie.
George.
I'll get it.
Good evening, George.
Well, it's kind of like this, as near as I can remember. Of course, I didn't make a study of the guy, you understand.
How long before the shooting did he come into the saloon?
Well, it was about 5 minutes.
He drink alone?
Yeah, at first. Then he moved down the bar to these 2 fellas. They talked for a couple of minutes. Scarface must have tipped them off Hennessy was riding in.
Have you seen Scarface since the shooting?
No, not a sign of him. Of course, like I told George this morning, there was so much excitement after the shooting and everything.
Wait a minute.
Huh?
George.
George Romack. He stopped in the saloon this morning. I told him about Scarface. Didn't he tell you, fellas? These guys keeping secrets? Yeah, he stopped in to collect for Mrs. Hennessy.
Sure.
Oh, that reminds me. You fellas will be going to the wake. Would you give her these?
Expect she can use them.
Yeah. Well, night.
Night, Corky. Before he went home, I asked him if he had anything to report.
Probably slipped his mind, Chief.
Why are you trying to defend him?
Defend him? What's he done?
I don't know. I wish I did. I wish I knew what he did for a living before he ended up in my department on your say-so.
Nothing wrong with George Romack. Got a wife? Baby coming? Just thinking how I could be his wake tonight instead of Barney's.
If he lets that stand in his way, he's got no business on the force.
Chief, how many kids have you got?
I don't know, Smitty. I don't know what they talked about. George sent me out of the room.
What happened after the fellow left?
George sat in here by himself for a long time. Didn't want to talk. Sometimes he gets that way, and I've learned just to let him be. Then, well, after a spell, he came into the kitchen. Said he thought he'd go over to Hennessy's wake.
How long ago was that?
A couple of hours. I'm worried about him, Smitty.
I am, too. He never showed up at Hennessy's.
How long has he been this way? An hour. But it wasn't my fault, Mr. Smith. He went behind the bar and got the bottle himself.
George.
Go away, will you?
Come on, let's go.
Oh, gee, was a guy.
I don't know anyhow. What do you want to do this for, Smitty? Smitty. Come on, Smitty, leave me.
Need some coffee, Corky.
That's enough. I should have told you this when you got me the job. His name's Duggan. I rode with him and Garrity once down in Texas.
That was 5 years ago.
How'd you know?
I know. I knew before you were hired.
And you didn't tell Richards? Why?
I had a feeling about you. Hunch, maybe. I figured you decided to leave Texas behind you. Was I right? Then let's forget it. What Duggan have in mind?
Well, I'm in charge tomorrow night, and they want me to turn Garrity loose. Offered me $1,500 in gold.
What'd you tell him?
I told him if he ever showed his face around there again, I'd break him in half. But I was bluffing, and he knew it.
Bluffing?
Well, I'm afraid for Edie. I tried to get her out of town, but she won't hear of it. I don't know. If it was only me, I'd spit in her eye, but Smitty, you know she's expecting. And if anything happened to her, anything happened to Edie, I don't know.
Well, what's the answer? Drink yourself to death?
No, I'll quit the department. I'm off the force. They got no use for me, right? They'll leave us alone.
Mr. Smith, he just come in. The guy with the scar.
I'm gonna tell that.
Hold it. Sit down. Go in there and hold him at the bar as long as you can.
All right. What are you going to do?
Never mind. Get going. I wonder what would happen if we played along with him.
Is you loco or something?
Maybe. But supposing you turned Garrity loose, I wonder where he'd go.
Why, he'd ride back to his boys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We have a lot of excitement, social life, too. For instance, we have a very, very nice wake going on tonight, if you're interested in that sort of a thing.
I don't remember inviting you to drink with me.
You thought it over?
Yeah, and I can't do it. I'm working for John Richards. I don't like him much, but he pays me $80 a month, so I do what he says.
Thought I'd find you here.
Go away, Smitty.
Get up.
I said go away.
You know what Richard said the last time you got drunk on duty?
I'm not drunk.
You keep out of this. You go out back and soak your head under that pump and report to the office in 10 minutes. You got that?
Get out of here.
You get yourself fired, you're no good to us, George. Got a wife to take care of now. Baby coming too, I hear. Might be you could use some money. How about it? You'll never get nowheres at $80 a month.
All right. Tell your friends I changed my mind.
Tomorrow night?
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell me about this before?
You'd have fired him.
You know what you're putting in Romack's hands? Your reputation, my reputation, the whole department's.
I told you I'd trust him.
How do you know you can?
Got a feeling.
Feeling. You and your feelings.
Hi. $500. Get the rest when I deliver them to Duggan.
What time is that?
Between midnight and 1 o'clock. Duggan's going to have a couple of horses at the Cherry Creek Bridge.
Where are they taking him?
Won't say. Wherever it is, though, they're going to make it about sunup. He did say that.
Garrity's bad leg, you'll have to walk his horse. And could trail him on foot.
Duggan doesn't suspect anything.
No, only that you might fire me before I can do him any good.
No, you're not going to get fired, George. But if this thing doesn't work out, I'm going to be the first police chief in history to get lynched, and you two are going to be right alongside me.
Well, I'll see you in about an hour.
Where are you going now?
Come kiss Edie goodbye. Finally talked her into visiting her mom. Edie. Edie, hon, where are you? Edie? Edie? Where are you, hon?
She's gone, George.
Where is she?
Oh, now, don't worry. We'll take good care of her. Garrity ain't much of a one for taking chances. We just want to be sure whose side you're playing on.
What to get done with her?
Hold it. That's far enough.
You won't pull that trigger. I'm no good to you dead, Duggan.
Where is she? Tell me where she is. What have you done with her? Tell me, Duggan.
Now, what do you think, Smitty?
They probably headed south. Otherwise, there'd be no sense in meeting at the Cherry Creek Bridge.
South of our area. Dry Creek Dickens.
No. 4 hours at a walk could take you past there. Down around Plum Creek, I'd say. Somewhere along there.
They got Edie.
Where?
Tell him, Duggan. I said tell him, Duggan.
Plum Creek Church.
There'll be 4 of them footed up down there. We'll need more men.
No. You ride in there with an army, they'll kill her. George and I take Duggan here and Garrity. We might be able to make a deal with them.
Funny, I was always told that women folks started jabbering like Polly Parrots when they were scared. Maybe you just ain't scared. Hey, Chief. 4 riders moving up outside. Well, that's just 2 too many. You expecting company, honey?
This is close enough. You know what to tell them. Mrs. Romack's delivered to us safe. We'll turn Garrity loose.
Suppose you don't.
I wouldn't suppose if I was you, Duggan. Another thing, if she's hurt in any way, you're going to lose the rest of that skin. That goes for anyone else that lays a hand on her. You tell them that.
Smith and Romack and who else?
Nobody.
You mean they came here alone?
Look, I told you. There's only the two of them and Garrity. Send him the woman and they turn him loose.
How do we know?
You don't. You take their word for it.
Not me. Fallon. Go up in the belfry and holler over to him. Tell them we bring the girl, they fetch Garrity. We'll meet him halfway. Sure worked you over, didn't he?
Shut up.
Is he dead? Might as well be for all the good he's going to do us now.
Smith! Romack! We'll meet you halfway. You bring Garrity, we bring the woman. You hear? Don't come without him.
You hear that? If we show up without him, they'll kill Edie. Come on, give me a hand.
Any sign of them?
Nothing yet.
What's keeping them?
Here they come.
All right, lady. Let's go.
Easy, George. Slow.
Duggan?
Yeah?
You sure that's Garrity?
Why?
Well, that leg of his cured up awful fast. He couldn't stand on it the other night.
Slow.
Keep her!
I think they're on us.
Hold up!
Now. Any ideas, Smitty? You entertain them, George. I want to have a look around. Okay. We dropped Edie off at her home, and George and I took the prisoners in. I knew there'd never be any question about George's past again. He'd more than lived it down. He proved it by living up to his job on the force. It sure pays to have a little faith in a man, especially when that man is your friend.
And